Hi, welcome back. So far this week, we've spent some time learning a little bit more about ourselves, about our learning styles, and about what values we think are important to incorporate into our classrooms. And we've learned a little bit more about some of the necessary pieces of information about our jobs in the school in which we'll be working that we might need to get yet. So now it's time to begin our planning. I'm a firm believer in planning. I once read this most wonderful quote that made so much sense to me. Now, if only I could remember where I read it. Anyhow, the quote goes like this. If you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you get there? Many teachers, especially if they've been teaching for a bit, feel that they don't really need to plan. After all, they're experienced enough, they can just wing it. But all of us are responsible. We're responsible to our directors, to our students and their families, and to the teachers that will have our students in future years. We're responsible for covering the material that we've been hired to cover. And all of us, no matter where we work or who we work for, will have unanticipated events occur during the year that will take some of the time that we had planned to use and spend it on something else. School cancellations for bad weather are a prime example. So can be a school-wide celebration or an unanticipated opportunity to have a guest speaker or to participate in a special program. All of those take time that we may not have allocated at the beginning of the year when we do our planning. So it's important for us to realize that the planning will enable us to map the year out, but it's also not written in stone, and our plans are subject to amendment as the year evolves. One of the ways I learned to compensate for the unexpected was to always block out a single day in the late spring, usually after Pesach. If we had had delays or cancellations or whatever during the year, we could always use that single day to catch up so that we could finish the year in a timely manner. During those very rare years when we didn't need to catch up, we'd do something else as a special day. Sometimes the kids would choose to bring in a special book or their favorite book, or we'd repeat an activity that they had enjoyed earlier in the year. They always had a voice in planning it, and we all learned to thoroughly enjoy those special days. The materials you'll explore in the rest of the week focus on the big picture planning that you need to do before the year begins. They will also provide you with an opportunity to do some planning about the type of physical environment in which you'll be working. And you'll begin to see how the annual planning affects the unit planning, which in turn affects individual lesson planning. You'll notice also this week that some of our materials are written and some are podcasts. In recognition of the fact that we don't all learn the same way, Rabbi Aaron and I decided to integrate different ways to present the same material or similar material so that you can find a way that works best for you. We will sometimes encourage you to do both the written and the auditory or the podcast, but we did want to acknowledge and recognize that we don't all learn the same way. So, find a calendar or a teacher planner or design a template that works for you and begin to sketch out your year. Happy planning.